XRP versus XLM. One component's for sure, and this is there may be no scarcity of drama inside the cryptocurrency area. Now, lately, some simply flared up between Stellar and XRP, so we're going to speak about that right here. Didn't count on to do an XLM coin review here. I had a couple different coins that have been really in front of the list. However, with this current little debate debacle, I figured it'd be true to revisit Stellar XLM, and so that's what I'm going to be doing right here nowadays. And this replace might be delivered to our 2025 coin overview. We've already executed XCN, HBAR. I had some others that were before XLM, but I figured it would be a right time to take a look here at this little Stellar mission another time. Some name it the stepsister, the steptoddler. And the humorous factor right here is that XLM has carefully followed XRP for a completely long time. However, I desired to get this video out right here due to the fact I want you men to be prepared. Due to the fact back in 2021, XLM did disconnect from XRP for nearly a month. And this changed into the final time that I traded out of XLM. I sold maximum my bag. I went back to head discover the transaction on Coinbase. However, due to the fact Coinbase recreated the app a couple times, I wasn't capable of cross-return to find my exchange due to the fact I was curious to recognize if I had dumped my entire bag from XLM into XRP or if I simply sold off most of my bag. However, I recollect at the time how a good deal I grew my XRP bag and I changed into very happy at that moment. And so I desired to get this update and remind people who in the beyond this has came about. Mostly XLM follows XRP, however, I'm going to be watching this carefully because Jed McCaleb, there may be a few very interesting connections with Jed, and the ability for XLM to just apparently comply with XRP has simply been so exciting. Let's get right on into this update. Real short, by way of the way the markets are coming backpedal, I'm recording this. The 9th of February, 2025, and it's about 2 o'clock on the West Coast, pretty much an hour and a half far away from the Super Bowl setting out. Markets are coming backpedal proper now off the news that China is about to impose 15% tariffs on US oil and gasoline and motors on Monday. So in case you're questioning why the markets are coming backpedal, this is why. But let's get right on into this XRP versus Stellar. Let me make a completely very critical point before we get into it. There is room for each. XLM is my quantity. It has always been my quantity. Even after I did sell off of XLM into XRP, I then reamassed my XLM bag at some point of this bear market. And so I have a bag of XLM. It's my Variety 2 bag going into this bull run. And I'm going to speak about in which I'm going to be taking income on XLM and why afterward in this episode. But with regards to this new monetary system, there's honestly a function for both. One element that I've found out over being in this space for 4 or 5, basically almost 6, 7 years now, is that there's lots of room for opposition, wholesome competition. I truly inspire, and there's plenty of room. There's such a lot of corporation use cases, institutions which can be going to want their handheld as they move into this new monetary machine, as they combine digital assets. And so there may be room for Ripple, there may be room for Stellar, there may be room for plenty of different initiatives too. The query that we're asking, even though is how large of this piece of the pie, how huge of this action is Stellar going to get? And that's what we've got to make our wager on. Now, all of this maximum latest drama comes from this publish that turned into made by the Build on Stellar account. And I don't know which intern turned into in-rate this account, who notion it become a great concept to position out this tweet. However, they stated, believe spending more on lawyers than builders and calling it development. A very obvious shot at Ripple and XRP. And the purpose why this is bugging such a lot of people, myself blanketed, is as it's simply in terrible taste. Like, why could you ship a shot at Ripple for having to spend cash combating the SEC, the corruption that we've exposed there, and the 150 million that they've spent on behalf of the complete industry only benefited all and sundry, and in an effort to take a shot at them in this regard is simply awful taste. I'm involved in healthy opposition. I like speaking smack, like I love the backward and forward. If it is a laugh, if it is healthful, you recognize you bought a cheeky little comeback. That's right, I suggest I would like to look more of that wholesome opposition, a little to and fro among XRP and X, make it a laugh. But this became just so distasteful, truly sad to peer. And without a doubt, the CEO of the Stellar Improvement Foundation, Donnell Dixon, she in reality got here out, and he or she retweeted this, and he or she made a remark too. And I simply idea it was very susceptible and possibility to make clear and say, hey, we admire Ripple for spending the money. You realize this turned into a joke, whatever, sorry if it offended some people, anything. However, the way that she spoke back, iConcept was very weak. And the manner that David Schwartz responded, iConcept was rather funny. He says, in case you strike at the king, you better no longer omit. That's David Schwartz's response. I thought that became pretty funny. Now, allows, get into it, men. Stellar replace Q4 2024 via the numbers 9 million in total addresses. That's approximately almost double of the quantity of wallets and addresses at the XRP ledger. So pushing toward 10 million for Stellar, that is quite excellent. 458 million of actual international asset deliver. There has been pretty a chunk of RWAs tokenized on Stellar to this point, 4.1 billion of RWA price volume. And that's what we want to see. It's not enough to tokenize the value at the chain. That's no longer necessarily going to flow the rate. What's going to flow the charge of Stellar is that liquidity being used, and XLM getting used to offer that liquidity among trading between these actual world property. That's what you want to see. You could tokenize trillions and trillions at the ledger. However, if it simply remains dormant, price isn't always going to go up on the underlying asset. When you get that token, you realize tokenized actual international belongings on the chain, and you then begin to see that trading among that liquidity being provided via XLM. That is what's going to make the fee go up. Now, 19.1 billion of general volume, 557 million of operations, and 93-second ledger close time. So persevering with on, 52 million of TVL up 640%. That did get exceeded up through XRP though, in no time. The TVL at the XRP ledger, I think, is up at about 80 million now. We're quick going to be surpassing 100 million. So it didn't take us long. We've most effective had our AMM because 2024 here, this is simplest now not even been stay for a year. And we've got already exceeded Stellar's AMM, which has been live for a few years now. So just due to the fact you recognize Stellar or every other chain sort of beats us to it would not always mean that we will play trap up, right? Just because you have the programmability, like Stellar now has smart contracts, doesn't mean that you're going to get massive adoption. Huge institutions too are available in. That's what we are waiting to appear on Stellar, and we do have an replace on that. 52 million TVL, it really is up 640%. It truly is properly. 9. Number 9, fastest developing atmosphere, 18 billion total community transactions, 6.2 million employer and matching fund. Stellar smart contract, Sora bonds developed tail. We have Blend, that's script 3 legit right here on X, became the first protocol to surpass 15 million in TVL. 4 extra protocols attain milestones exceeding 5 million in TVL and surpassing 1 million. Sorabond overall TVL surging 640%. That's accurate. Like I said, they got clever contracts. They decided to move proper into the layer 1 native clever contracts. And we decided to look at this closely to peer how it rolled out, how it accomplished, because the XRP ledger has decided now not to bring clever contracts to layer 1. What we have carried out at the XRP ledger is we've been including type of character features and programmability as we pass. It's sort of like clever contract light version is how I could evaluate it. And so very thrilling to look at. Looks like they already got a few TVL, a few increase happening for the smart settlement structures. I'll comply with upgrader on that later, but that is good to see. New Stellar partnerships and integrations in Q4, MasterCard, crypto credentials. It's good. Paxos bringing USDL to Stellar. Refugees application growth running with the UN and doing a little appropriate matters there with Stellar Aid. First, Wyoming stablecoin qualification. So Stellar is a part of the stablecoin organization for Wyoming in conjunction with, there's a few other initiatives in there. I realized Ripple wasn't blanketed in that one. I don't know if Cardano become either. There's a few in there. However, Stellar did make it onto the Wyoming stablecoin committee, that group, and that is first rate to look.